Okay, you guys are balancing on a washing basket. Oh, I never do this. I never just turn on my camera and film anything that's unplanned. I'm just having a very emotional day and a lot of thoughts, and I just wanted to talk about how much my life has changed from 21 to 31 and my mindset, like how changes I made to my general attitude in my early 20s, I feel like have completely changed my experience of life in a way that I'm so grateful for and so thankful for every day. Like, I'm so thankful for my life. And so I found sorry, I'm playing with a little tiny baby sock. I have a little baby and I love him so much. And I just feel like I'm so excited for this whole decade to like have more kids, hopefully, and to like be able to spend it with my best friend. Sorry, I turned you off for a little while there to try and gather myself, but I've decided I don't want to. I'm not ashamed of my emotions, and I know I can be judged for them, but I don't want to hide who I actually am. The internet is so full of people trying to all be the same and trying to filter themselves into these lifeless concoctions, and I don't want to do that. God, I'm overexposed. And that ties in a lot to how I changed in my 20s, you know. So what sparked this is recently, like, I found this old vision board thing on one of my old hard drives. I was just looking at all these old pictures of myself and it made me really, really sad. Like, I just wish I could hug that girl that I was, just be kinder to her, because I used to be so hard on myself. I was full of, when I was about 20, you know, I was so full of jealousy and rage and resentment and fear and mistrust and just fury, sadness, just all these emotions, you know, that don't feel very good. And I was swimming in that in my head. And all of us deal with a lot of challenges in life. You know, we lose people. Like my nana died. We lose jobs. I lost my job. We have difficult toxic relationships sometimes. And I was with someone, and for years I was allowing such horrific circumstances to continue. Like, I was able to leave, and I just kept choosing to stay because I didn't believe that I deserved any better. And this person, you know, like it all started very innocently when I was about 16, and they would throw bottles of water over my head in front of their friends and think it was funny, and I'd be like, ha, this is just, you know, this is just flirting. And as the years went on, it became, you know, we'd be at a sleepover and they'd pull my pants down in front of all their friends and smack my arse over and over again, like pin me down and just find it hilarious. And there's so many things I blocked out, like so many things happened in that relationship that I completely blanked out that really badly affected me. I remember at some teenage party and we all were smoking weed and drinking alcohol, and a good friend of mine from school was there, and my ex, like I was alerted to the fact that they were in one of the little bathrooms together, and I walked in and he kind of had her, she was like passed out, she was so out of it, wasted, you know, and he had like brought her in there, and he said he was like helping her, and she was between his legs and his hand was in a place where his hand shouldn't have been. And I saw this in my absolute state, and I walked out of the bathroom and I just like wiped it from my brain. I was like, nope, that didn't happen. I didn't see that. Everything's fine. We can't not be in a relationship anymore, because then I will have lost this relationship and I will probably never find anyone else, because he had ground my confidence down to a fucking nub. And he honestly like made me feel like I was so terrified of losing him. And people would often say to me, you know, like, you can do better, you deserve better. I'd always hear rumours that he was cheating on me all the time, and I would defend him. One time he was drunk and he got me in his car, locked the doors, and drove off into the countryside, telling me that if he couldn't have me, no one could have me. He was bombing along the roads. I thought I was going to die, and I ended up turning his steering wheel, hopping out of the car, hiding in a bush. He was walking up and down the road, screaming bloody murder, threatening all sorts. You know, there's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of situations like this. I was on holiday with him, and on the holiday he said he wanted to be on a break, and then he was, you know, going off in the nightclub, you know, flirting with other girls and telling me to stop overreacting and it wasn't a big deal. Meanwhile, I'm there in a foreign country with no family, 18 years old. Like, just, there's just hundreds of situations like that I found myself in. And so I shared this before. Like, I wrote about it years ago in my book, and we would be breaking up over and over again and getting back together. It's just a very toxic situation. And I was on the pill, and I was on a night out. I drank so much that I threw up. We all know that I don't drink alcohol anymore, but I was a always rotten drinker, and drank so much I threw up, and this ex and I slept together, and I got pregnant, and I was only 19. I was terrified. I was broke. I had a really poor relationship at the time with my mum, who I'm so close to now, but like as a teenager things were strained because of all the stuff I was going through, you know, and I've taken it out on her. I'd fallen out with a lot of my friends because of the way I was with this in this relationship that I was in. They were so sick to death of listening to me. It's kind of like if you've ever seen Sex and the City, the way Carrie is with Big, and they're all like, you need to sort this out because we're so done listening to you go on and on about him. It was that situation, except way worse. And funnily enough, that show, Sex and the City, was like so huge for me in just taking me away from my own life at the time. And just thinking about it now, having a son, I'm so terrified of having a miscarriage ever again. And I get messages from my followers who, you know, some of them can't even watch my content anymore because it hurts them to see me with a baby, and they want one so much, and I understand that desire so much. And he's the best thing that has ever happened to me, and I want that for everyone who wants a child. I want them to be able to experience that, even if it's not their own, or even if they have to have IVF, if they have to adopt. Like, if you want to be a mother and to nurture a baby and stuff, I want that for you so much, and I'm so thankful for the experience of it. And anyway, at the time I didn't want the baby. Like, I'm pro-choice, but I would never have an abortion. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I suppose I'd be considered pro-choice, anti-abortion. Anyway, I just remember, like, I was lying, this is me, like, 19 years old, lying in a hospital bed, bleeding and losing my first baby, and the ex turned off their phone, went to a party, and at this party was someone he used to like sleep with before me, and I'm just lying there in the hospital, just this ball of just horrible feelings. Like, I felt so lost and trapped. I didn't have any qualifications. I didn't have a job at this point. I had this big loan. I'd borrowed money for this really fancy gaming laptop. I know. Judge all you want. I was a mess. I'm laying it out there. I had lost my grandmother, who was extremely important to me, which I've shared before. Just everything was so shit. And I'm lying there in this hospital bed, and I'm watching Sex and the City on this tiny little flip-up DVD player, and my dad had gotten it for me, and it was just so horrible, you know. And then, so fast forward to me being 21, right? I read a lot. I learned a lot about health and mindset and positivity and positive thinking, and that couple of years was hugely important for me. But when I was about 20, I started going out with another person. I kind of went from one relationship to that relationship. And now, honestly, like, looking back and really being able to reflect from this point in my life, I think I saw that person as a life raft, and I was like, this person won't hurt me. This person won't do to me what all the things that this ex did, the mental abuse, constant, you know, all of the awful stuff I went through. And that's not a reason to get into a relationship, but I did anyway. And I was in that relationship for on and off for like 5 years, 6 years, I don't even remember. And that person had a profoundly positive impact on me as a person, but then we grew in two completely opposite directions. Like, he was like watering me, encouraging me to grow, and he wasn't growing with me. He just kind of stayed stagnant and almost regressed over a relationship. And I didn't see myself settling down with that person. I didn't see myself having children with that person. And I knew the feeling of life that I wanted to have. So this is it. Like, I don't think that there is any kind of dream perfect life that would, you know, obviously that everyone would think, oh, that's like a dream life, that's a perfect life. And when I started my YouTube channel, I thought maybe there is. And I went through this kind of trying to find myself thing where I would always like mimic all these people that I admired. I may have tendencies of that to this day. Like, I absolutely idolized a YouTuber called Anna Saccone, and I went to a YouTube meet and greet and I met her, and I just so desperately wanted to have the impact on other people that she had on me at the time. And through that, like through becoming an online creator and everything, I've gone through phases where I've been like, that person is amazing, I want to have whatever it is that person has, and I would try and emulate it, and I would try and it was an insecurity in myself and in being myself and just talking like myself and feeling comfortable being myself and being judged for being myself. I think I always thought, like, if I act like this person and people judge me, they're not judging me, they're judging the act that I'm putting on, if that makes sense. It was like a weird self-protection thing that I've figured out through doing therapy, you know, like an armor almost, these like personas that I would put on. So my 20s were just so transformative, and anyone watching this who's in their 20s, like, do everything, just live 100 lives in 5 years and see what you like, and travel if you can. Just fucking COVID, but do it if you can. Try lots of styles and try lots of hobbies, and just find out what it is that makes you feel content. And that's like all I ever wanted, was just to feel content and not to feel this desire to go into a empty room and scream at the top of my lungs. Like, I think I get so emotional looking at little baby socks and holding my son, feeding my son, playing with my son, because being a mother, it's the one thing I've done in my life where I feel like no criticism of myself. Like, I feel like I am 100% doing my best and doing a good job. Like, he's so happy and healthy, and I feel it gives me so much deep fulfillment and a huge sense of purpose, and like far more than my career. Like, and I have done so much in my career over the past 8 years that I never dreamed that I would get a chance to do when I was younger, like publish books and walk red carpets and win awards and meet famous people and be interviewed and almost like referred to as accomplished, you know. And it's all nice, it's all great, it's all you know, wow, but at the end of the day, like, what makes me feel all these, like, cry all these happy tears all the time, it's my love. It's just being love, like feeling like it's meditative, it's feeling connected to something more than me, like family, it's caring for other people, it's doing good, like it's donating money to people who need it. It's the simple things. And, you know, through my 20s, I feel like I wore so many different skins, and I saw through lots of different eyes, because I just kept morphing into who I thought I wanted to be, or who I was at the time. Like, I changed so much. And I got a comment the other day, and it was just like, I hope you go back to being the person you were when you lived with your dad and your brother. And so it made me laugh, because I was just not at all where I wanted to be at that time. And I was still in the process of learning not to be fake, trying to like not only like wear certain clothes because so-and-so is wearing certain clothes. And I desperately wanted the apartment in London or LA with the white walls and the dog and just the exact same light, like the blonde hair, and I just wanted to be like all the people I was watching. And yes, I still love all of those people, but I've been much happier since I started just being myself and sharing the messiness that is my life. And it's a wonderful life. I want everyone to feel this, like this feeling of like, sounds dramatic, but if I died now, today or tomorrow, I'd be happy. Like if I was on my deathbed and I found out I had some really serious cancer, like tomorrow, I'm 31 and I can say, you know, I'm happy, and I'm happy with the person that I am, and I'm happy with the things that I've done. Obviously I do not want to die anytime soon. I love life so much, and that's what I want for people, to just love their life. Anyway, on this vision board thing that I made when I was really young, the life I wanted was like, I wanted to be in a relationship that felt like home, you know, where there was love and respect and tenderness and care and friendship and humor and everything that I have with my husband. I adore the ground the man walks on, and I wanted a job where I was impacting people, and I kind of assumed that would be teaching, but this job didn't even exist back then. I wanted to be pursuing creative endeavours like what I'm doing, writing books and obviously making videos, and I wanted financial security. And you know, I feel so blessed that my company's been doing so well the past few years, and I wanted all relationships in my life to be healed. And you know, I've had bumps in the road with people like my sister and stuff, but like we sorted it all out and it's like ancient history already. And I wanted a close-knit group of friends, and I wanted a family, and I've started that family, and I just wanted to be filled with gratitude all the time. I wanted to enjoy eating healthy food and moving my body, and I just can't believe the things that I have managed to, like, I do believe in manifestation, and people poo-poo it, but like the amount of anecdotal evidence on the internet is overwhelming. But then also just through the ages, the quotes from all of the greatest thinkers over the years, they're all very, very similar. Like, the power of the mind is just something we don't understand. They can't scientifically figure so many things out about the brain and energy. And I don't believe that if, like, you know, bad things happen to us or we get ill or whatever, that like we're at fault there. The way I think about it is more related to how you react to what life throws at you. That is what determines your like sense of inner peace. I definitely do think you have power to shape and colour in your life the way that you would like it to be. Like, I was super obsessed with Sex and the City, literally ridiculously obsessed with it, and I was like I would lie in bed just depressed, no job, super overweight and unhealthy, and I couldn't even go for a 5-minute walk, and I had no close friends, and I had no nice things. And I remember at the time, that's what I valued. I wanted that life. And during my 20s, like, so many scenes even from Sex and the City I feel like I experienced in my real life that were just a little bit different from the show. But you know, like, it was scary levels. And then, like, just, yeah, I look back over the past few years with my husband, and it's just like a dream. I just can't believe my life. And I used to be the type of person who would see people and I would just want them to be fucking miserable. I would just look at them, and I would look at the gossip magazines about, you know, kind of D-list celebrities, and I would be cheering on. I would be like hoping and gagging for something bad to happen, like the juicy news of like, oh, so-and-so dumped her because of this, or she put on weight and now everyone's noticed. And the people who just are like, oh yeah, for that kind of stuff, like, I just I see myself in them because I was like that when I was younger, and it was coming from a place of just fucking hell in my brain. And observing someone fucking up or kind of falling down gives the sense to people in that mindset that they're being raised up, but they're not. Like, it's simply attracting more bullshit to you and your brain and your life when you're wanting bad things to happen to other people. And in the line of work that I'm in, especially since I had my son, I've had more of that. I've had more comments of people just nitpicking, looking for things to make me feel bad about, or to you know, even just yesterday, like I posted something up on my Instagram stories and I got all these messages of people who just desperately want me to feel like a bad mother, and for them, maybe it makes them think like, oh, if she's failing in this regard, then if I'm failing in these other regards, it's fine, because like look at her, look what she's doing. Like, I think that's where that kind of stuff grows, and like, it's so bad. It's turn away from that if you're finding yourself, especially with all this COVID stuff, if your life has gone kind of a bit shitty, turn away from that. Like, every moment is a new opportunity to turn things around. It really is. Every hour, every day, you can make decisions that will vastly improve your life. And if I look at me as a 21-year-old and me as a 31-year-old, oh my, I can't even tell you. They're just two completely different people. And I started my channel when I was only like 23. So some of the people who've been around, like, I know you might have liked me, or the me that I was projecting back then. I hope that you can see that in the last, maybe, I'd say maybe 4 years, 5 years, maybe 5 years. I've been a lot more myself in the past 5 years than the first half of my 20s. What I mean by that is I was being much more true to myself, the myself that I was at the time of like posting content. And we all need to experience really shit stuff, I think, to grow, to have the metamorphosis, to have the on the floor feeling, so that we're like, you know, you realize there's no lower, like the only way is up from here. And I had many on the floor moments in different aspects in different areas of my life that shifted things and changed things. But if you're younger and you're watching this, like, accept only the kind of love and relationship that you believe you deserve. There's never a situation where you can't get out of a relationship with someone who's treating you like dog shit. There's no scenario where you can't escape that. I mean, and I know you might feel extremely trapped, but you can get out of it, and if you really want to, you will. You can go back and get an education and retrain somehow in something. You can pursue things that you think, oh, well, I'm not going to be amazing at that thing, and so what? You don't need to be the best painter to paint. You don't have to be the most incredible singer to sing. If you were born into a really shitty family, you can create an amazing, incredible family of your own. I'm not saying I was born into a shitty family. I love my family. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what my goal is with this. I just kind of wanted to, I know that sometimes I'd say one sentence and it has a huge impact on someone, because they come back to me a couple of years later and they're like, do you remember in this video at this point when you said this thing? That changed my life. And that is what keeps me on the internet, in the face of people who hate follow me, trolls, rumours. We had just some incredible news this week. My husband has a new job as a pilot out of the UK doing long haul to America, and it's not at all what we would have visualized or dreamed of. And like, both of us are big into the law of attraction and blind faith and whatnot. It's a 5-year commitment, and at the end of this, he'll be in a much more stable position career wise to go back to doing the flying around Europe that he was doing. And we might actually end up preferring this. Like, he'll be gone for 2 days and then at home for 9 days. We don't know where home is going to be just yet, but like, home for me is where my husband and my baby are. They are my home. I always feel so myself, and just like, my husband is like me. He's like my limb, and my baby is, well, like, it's just like we're all the same person. kind of like when you do mushrooms. Last time I did mushrooms was about 5 years ago, but I remember I was at a music festival with a school friend of mine, and I remember just thinking like, see that tree is me, and that music, I am that music, and everything was just everything else. And that's the way I think about the world. Like, I remember reading something about psychedelics and that like they kind of interrupt certain brain activity so that when that's taken away, you experience a little bit of kind of the reality of what you are, and what we all are just energy waves, and energy cannot be created or destroyed scientifically, and we're all made of that. And that is why I believe so much in connectedness, in nurturing connections with other people and the great outdoors. And oh, I'm really waffling here, haven't I? I'm just having a lot of feelings and thoughts today, and I just can't believe really how much a life can change in 1 decade. If you're feeling like, oh, things are so shit, what's the point anymore? What's the point of me being here? Why bother keep continuing on if I'm going to just feel like this? I've lived so many lives in 10 years, and if you showed 21-year-old me 31-year-old me's life, like a snapshot of it, just like a 5-minute little video, or if I spoke into a camera to my past self and she was on a cliff edge, I don't think she'd jump. I think she'd shimmy backwards and push on through and be like, right, this is going to be horrible for a while. I need to just go with it and embrace the pain and say, this is where the growth is. This is where the magic happens. Because it is. It is. And even now, when really hard things happen and when I get really down over certain things or whatever, like, it's always making me better. And no matter what I experience, like, say, like, you know, after my birth, like, that whole time was really hard, but I just always have a glass half full angle on it. You know, it's the way I look at things, I think, is what makes me feel like I can weather any storm. And I just want to be honest and real and genuine in the process, and I want to say how I feel and what I think in any one moment, and I feel comfortable to say, and not have to like self-edit myself in anticipation of what people might say or think, because I have done that and I'm just so fed up of it. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't post this because people might think this, or people might turn it into this, or twist it into this, or say this, or blah blah blah. Oh my god, like, there's no one is perfect. There's no one perfect way to be. I am becoming the woman I always wanted to be. It's going to take me an awful lot longer, I think, to really be as well spoken and as wise and as knowledgeable and as nice as I'd like to be. But I think with every year that passes, I'm getting closer to that. And when I look at my life right now around me, and I feel safe and I feel warm and I feel loved and I feel love and I feel excited and I smile a lot, and I hope that everyone watching this video gets to feel that way. If you've never felt that way before, or if you do feel that way right now, that you get to hold on to it. And I know bad things are coming. I know there's icebergs on the way. I know that I'm going to lose family members eventually. I know that there are going to be bumps in the road that I can't even anticipate. They might just, you know, like COVID, like, that's kind of shown us really we don't have control over what happens to us. We do have control over how we react to it, though. That's what I wanted to take away from this. If even if you know that already, just a reminder. We all need reminders. I'm going to stop talking now. Thanks for letting me vent. I'll see you again very soon in another video. Subscribe if you're new. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this really messy, unplanned video. And I'll see you again very, very soon.